Good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to make sure that we're clear on what we just saw happen these past couple of days. That Supreme Court ruling that that took away the power of federal judges to employ nationwide injunctions was a huge deal historically. All right. So, as you know, if something happens in one state and you jump out and you say, "Hey, man, I know that's illegal." And that state's federal judge says, "Absolutely, we're going to hold off on this. We don't believe it's constitutionally okay to do this." Nobody anywhere else could do that same thing because there was a decision made to say this needs to be looked at constitutionally, so we have to stop it. What's happened now is when something happens in a state that could or should affect every citizen in the United States of America, what's said now is in that state, it's halted. In your state, you can do whatever you want to do. So if you have another federal judge in another state that views it differently, they're not going to challenge each other. And do you understand how important that is? The importance of that is judges typically, until they get to the Supreme Court level, they won't challenge each other. Now they don't have to. They don't have to come up with an argument for this purpose, you know. So everybody now has to attack everything as an individual instead of working together. If it's unconstitutional for this American, it should be unconstitutional for this American. That is no longer the case. Now, do you understand how important that decision was? These are the things that has me studying and reading to wee hours of the night to early in the morning. This is why I don't stitch. This is why I come with just the knowledge and the research that I'm taking the time to do. Trying to be governor of a state means trying to put something in place that is going to be beneficial for the majority of the people. But the reality is I wanted to work for everyone. That's why I decided that, you know what works for everybody? Everybody having a say-so. That always works for everyone. Having a say-so. This was a huge landmark historical thing that just happened. And we will see the results. If you've ever heard anybody say, "How come no one's talking about this?" This is a complete cutoff from that statement. It doesn't matter if it's happening in Montana now, or if it's happening in California, or Florida, or Georgia, or North Carolina, or Louisiana, or Texas. It doesn't matter. If you don't bring it up in your state, you're going to be under different rules and different guys. Now, are we teaching the law different? Everybody is entitled to your opinion. That is a fact. The interpretation of the law, is it being taught differently? So every state has an opportunity to interpret it different. Is there, when they go through whatever legal school they go through, is the Constitution looked at in a way that is different? You're about to see all of these things. How much a person's religion weighs in, how much their upbringing weighs in. Now you're going to see the effects, because where you may have somebody who says, "Hey, even though they are," and we're going to use a real example, they being illegal immigrants, even though these immigrants are illegal, the law is interpreted that due process is given to those who are here. Doesn't matter how long it takes, doesn't matter how much you dislike it, doesn't matter about any of those things. It's just the law. Now that changes, because somebody can say, "Nope, we don't want to," or "No one's brought it up here yet, so we're going to enact." Now couple that with the masked good people, air quotes, the masked good people that can jump out of a van, grab you up, say they're from anywhere, don't have to show you any identification whatsoever, and then you still have to figure out if you wake up in a place that's fair, because now you can be sent to some third party country before you're even given the opportunity to say, hey, I need to bring up a case against this if you can afford it. Let's not leave that out. If you can afford it. Now I'm hoping I'm painting the picture of how important this conversation was. And yes, citizens, let's get straight down into it. Could you have done anything to stop it? Absolutely not. Because they didn't actually weigh in. They didn't say, hey, citizens, can you weigh in? We just want to know your opinion on this. That's why I'm here. Because citizens need to be able to weigh in. Hey, citizens don't agree, or they do agree, that, you know what? Federal judges should not be able to input a nationwide halt or let a nationwide action happen. I think citizens should have been able to weigh in with the data. It should have been important for citizens to know, hey, how many nationwide injunctions have been beneficial to you? You should go look that up. How many nationwide injunctions have been harmful to you? Maybe you're doing a pros and cons board and you want to be able to make a good decision. Who knows? But you should have been able to weigh in to some extent. But when we don't include citizens, this is how we don't herd educate, right? Like herd immunity. We don't immunize our citizens with education because we don't include them in judicial discussion. We don't include you in political discussion. We are seeing the separation of powers. We're seeing the consolidation of powers. Things are looking real separate in a place where we're supposed to be trying to bring things together. So I guess if you had to look at it, I guess the plan of this administration is to separate as much as possible. And I don't know what happens after that. I do not know. But this was a very big deal by the Supreme Court. And there are people who are definitely saying, hey, the Supreme Court is corrupt. That's a statement that's being used. These are things that should not be used. I don't know if you guys remember, but you can go look this up. They made a decision where a bribe is not considered a bribe if you receive the gift after you've already done the action. It just doesn't make any logical sense. But this is where we are. So what do citizens do when we see these things happen? I had a gentleman, he questioned me on one of the videos, the same question I get often. How do we know you're not going to be a lying politician like the rest of them? That's literally what they say. You come out here, you ask us, you tell us these things, they sound good, but how do we know you're not going to be the same? And this is how I answered them. And you can go look. I say, because I'm single focused. My single focus is on a root cause problem. And the root cause problem is I don't know what you want. That's the root cause problem. I don't know what citizens want. Citizens may not have wanted all federal judges to lose their national authority, but we didn't get asked. Citizens maybe want certain things, but they don't get asked. And they definitely don't get asked in a way that's prevalent. Oh, let's throw out polls. Polls, to me, are propaganda and used to trick you. There are information, but take the state of Florida. I don't need a poll. I just need you to vote. If the voting booth is your biggest source of power, you don't go there enough. I told you, I'm going to put the vote in your hands. Floridians should have been asked, hey, the Supreme Court is going to make this decision. I got an estimated 23 million people in Florida. I know right now that roughly 14 million of you are registered voters. Out of the 23 million, 14 million of you are registered voters. I'm going to ask you what you think about this. It's going to be a vote at your fingertips because the world needs to know what citizens think. I canvassed my entire state to ask them if this was a good idea. But no one asked citizens. This didn't happen in this didn't happen in no state, none. Because the thought process currently is not to care about what citizens want. That's just the bottom line. So again, I'm a candidate for governor of Florida, literally trying to explain to you the magnitude of you not being a part of the system. It should not be this difficult to get the support that I'm looking for, but it is. I'm not going to stitch. I'm not going to guilt trip you. I'm just going to tell you that the results will vary based on all this stuff that happens. If you are of an upper echelon financial person, you may not feel the effects of this unless something happens in your realm. If you're in that lower area, you already know how difficult it is to bring up an issue because it becomes a financial barrier. I'm just trying to break down the financial barrier and give every citizen the same opportunity to weigh in. And you just saw a huge break in that. So if you wanted to know where you are in history, we are here watching the changes. This was an historical moment. And is it going to be beneficial? Time will tell. But I will say this, we brought it all together because we already saw it wasn't beneficial. That's why we brought it together. To break it apart is to create chaos. And we didn't need to create chaos. That is my opinion based on my study realm. We brought this together so that if something was happening in one place, the statement was, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. And they literally just broke that. But here's what they said. They said, no, it's still available to you. You just have to individually do it. You just got to get through all these barriers and guardrails. That's what you got to do now. You just got to get through all these barriers and guardrails. And the barriers and guardrails for the average citizen in the United States of America, number one now is if indeed someone does something that breaks your constitutional rights, if and when you get the chance to bring it up, that's going to be the problem. If and when you get the chance to. So, yes, I am asking to be governor of Florida. Yes, you can guarantee 100% that I live the same life that all of you live too. I got children who hate lectures. I'm out here learning to grow my own vegetables. I am trying to shake hands. I try to get to as many state meetings as I can just to listen to citizens and see some of their complaints. I watch the same TV shows you guys watch. So we're all in this together. No ifs, ands, and buts about that. It doesn't matter our status. We're all in this together. Some of us are living the better life and some of us aren't. It's really that simple. The only thing that we want to do, don't covet what nobody else got. Don't do that to yourself. Figure out what you can do with the power that's given to you. If you're looking at yourself and you say, well, what type of power do I have in politics? I'll tell you again, this is a representative democracy. Currently, you can vote on issues that come up when they put them on the ballot, and you can vote for a representative. What I'm aiming to change is I'm going to let you vote for every single thing that affects you. And that's going to be some work for you to do. I don't like to make these videos too long, but I do hope that your attention span is growing for you. Like I said, I wear my name because I believe that citizens deserve more direct democracy. My slogan is legislative authority for citizens. You put your own name on your own shirt and you get behind legislative authority for citizens. I'm running for governor of Florida, asking you for the job. I'm asking to be hired by the citizen because the citizen needs it. And once we put citizens in control of elected officials, I do believe we can start heading in a more cohesive direction because citizens will be weighing in the state of Florida. Because like I said, if all of these things are breaking up and more things now are going to be put in your state and at your state level, it's that much more important for you to have control over the people in your state. So you guys have a great Sunday.